Welcome everybody to Neural Network News. This is a podcast about AI and everything that's related to AI. I'm John, and this is
Ignat.
Welcome to the podcast. Going to be touching on a bunch of stuff in AI. We're really starting out from scratch, and you guys are going to be able to join us on this exciting adventure. So we're going to go through some headlines. We're going to go through some in-depth analysis, some feature segments, some takeaways, and what to expect. So I'm a techie. I'm a geek through and through, but I've been in AI and been fascinated about it ever since probably 2 years ago that I really started getting into it. And once DALL-E came out, the first one, I was just like blown away. I was like, all right, the pictures are great. And this was November of 2022, and I was already got an account, and I'm like making all these pictures, and I was showing everybody at the bar. I'm like, dude, type in whatever you want and you can get a cool picture, and then they come out with these cool pictures. And it was fun because it was like literally the edge of technology. What's your first experience with AI?
So about a year ago in February, I literally started seeing it on just in my feeds, ChatGPT. So I started messing with it, and at the time I was growing my business, and I started using it for creating listings for my hospitality company.
That's right, yeah.
All the creative juices that I never thought I had, I could just put it into this machine, tell it what I want, put some keywords in, and it gave me such a professional description in Shakespearean that I never had access to,
Yeah.
So definitely a little bit scared of it, a lot scared of it, and extremely excited about all the use cases and how people are using it and how they're using it in business to make money and hopefully responsibly make money.
Well, I think that's a good balance because I'm certainly one of the optimists, and I am the eternal optimist, and I see AI as a tool to make humanity better. There are certainly the other sides of it, which are the pessimist realists, which you certainly are, right?
Yeah.
And
but I'm also an optimist.
Yeah.
I mean, I see, this technology, it can be used to create drugs, and it can also be to help us, and formulas and biotech.
Drugs are bad,
but it also can create drugs that can individually kill a person based on their DNA code, and that can be all plugged into a computer. And but also realist, hopefully we were able to contain this raging bull that AI is in 2024.
Yeah.
In the beginning of 24 today.
We're going to start off with some headlines. Certainly, as we're recording today, Thursday, January 18th, there's been a lot of things going on. Certainly something from Facebook.
Yep, we got a post from Zuckerberg today, how they're expanding their compute and they're building an infrastructure, crazy infrastructure. He mentioned something about responsibility. Hopefully they mean it. And it looks like they're focusing on building out the infrastructure that they need to support whatever's Zuck's or whatever's Facebook's Meta's working on in terms of AI.
It says here Zuckerberg said they will have roughly 350,000 NVIDIA H100s by the end of this year. So they're taking on from what looks like a huge CPU processing power to supplement their AI projects. I mean, we've heard of, what's it, Llama?
Yes, that's what they're... We're currently training our next-gen Llama 3.
Llama 3. More to come, I'm sure. So that was kind of one of those things this week. Another thing, well, it was more or less last week. CES was going on, so there were a huge presence of AI. Literally everything was AI. The biggest things, your dishwasher, your refrigerator, everything now has AI, and they're pushing AI like crazy. One of the things that I really enjoyed was Rabbit R1. This is a product that is no bigger than, I guess, your wallet. So it's the size of like a wallet. Is got a touch screen, it's got a camera, and it is an integral part of an AI assistant, similar to ChatGPT's audio voice that already occurs right now. The thing that really got me was the fact that you can sign into your accounts. You'll say, hey, play this song, and it will already know where it is in your Spotify account. Or you can have it with its video, put it in front of what you're doing on your screen, and it will learn exactly what you're doing on your screen. If I'm like, I need to enter in something on my Excel spreadsheet, and you play around in the Excel spreadsheet, it will learn exactly how you're doing it, and then it will be able to replicate it. I think the biggest thing is just it's a new product. You don't know how to use it. We're so used to smartphones. How are we going to be able to work with this thing? It's just you push a button and you talk to it.
You just talk to it, yeah.
For me, it's very nostalgic because I'm a Trekkie, so I love the tricorder in the computer. One of the other things is if you put it in front of the fridge, it will recognize everything that's in the fridge, and you can ask it, hey, give me 3 recipes.
I heard something about that. Is that this device, or is that there's some kind of Samsung smart fridges that that will give you recipes based on the stuff that you have in the fridge?
Yes, and this was at CES. There was another product that said that it could do it. I mean, I see it more of we're at the edge of technology. The internet, when it first came out, it was super clunky. And I mean, Facebook, when it first came out, was mildly clunky. There are 2 sides of it. People are like, why would I ever need this? Or this is great. I can't wait to start using it. They blew through all the orders. They're on their 4th or 5th order iteration. So they're booking out until into the summer right now. So everybody wants this, and it's for $200. That's great.
Yeah, the price point. I was going to say that's what impressed me the most about this device is they're not trying to sell it for $1,000. They're trying to sell it for $200. That's when towards the end of it, that's when my attention was peaked.
Yeah. There are certainly more headlines from this week. And right now, I think actually the upscaling is a big thing everybody's talking about.
Explain to me upscaling.
So what happens is you have a grainy picture from World War II. Mm-hmm. And it's black and white, and it's, kind of grainy. You can take that picture and upscale it to where it's almost a modern level of detail. It's still black and white, but it's modern level detail in everything. Now, granted, it's AI thinking of what's going to be there, not actually there, maybe. And it still has a problem with faces. So let me just pull up one of the examples here. This example is just a picture upscaled, and you can zoom, and you can zoom.
Oh, I see what you mean. So you get this almost like infinite resolution?
Yes. Yeah, it's like that movie, Enhance. We're now at that point. Oh, yeah, I can do that. Yeah. So image...
upscaling means this resolution that you can just get more detail as you zoom in on an image, for example.
Yep. And so for this example, Pikachu, the image was created with DALL-E, achieved through Magnifique.
Is that another platform?
And this is the one, I actually have this on I used to have it on my computer. I think I took it off. So there's new things. I think this is the other big thing is that ChatGPT's GPTs, the programs that it can make now, which they brought out just recently this month. One of them is a GPT coding wizard. This is the one that everybody's been talking about the most recently, and I really want to dive into it as much as I can. It's a GPT can build a website with a sentence. It can create a game. It's HTML or Java or any of that stuff. You just give it and it creates it. This is actually on the pro version. This is not something on the free version. So the prompt down below, let's give it something
to do. Okay.
So one of the things that I'd love to do is give it an Excel spreadsheet that I have currently, which is a task manager. If I could take all of this spreadsheet and put it into a website, it would be something that my company could use, literally a 2,000 person company. And I could be like, hey, here's the code. Look at this thing. Yeah. And I'm going to save you 1 million man hours. And this is where the implementation of saving time, it allows us to do more things. Not necessarily take anybody's job away, but allows us to grow and do more things. There's a lot of implementation of in the right settings where, GDP increases rather than taking people's jobs away.
Right.
If people are more productive because of AI, you will have growth across the board. Yeah, that's where I see it going. So we'll switch into in-depth analysis.
Okay.
This is just a quick segment about what is some of the things that you enjoy with AI that is really interesting to you?
To me, to be just an observer to this incredible tech that we're going through this crazy evolutionary stage as a society, as people, as a species, and we get to be here in 2024. To me, that's the most incredible thing. To me, that's like, wow, we live in an incredible period of history, of human history.
Yeah.
To me, that's the most incredible thing. Hopefully, I'd like to stay optimistic, and as this technology is going to be used for the betterment of the human experience, and I'm with Elon on being a species. I'm all for this species. I also get that evolution may take different forms. We talked about it earlier. Joe Rogan's statement is we're a biological cocoon that gives birth to a technological butterfly, and I think that's extremely appropriate to this. I have goosebumps right now.
Yeah. You're looking at the next evolution or next step. Man found fire. Now man found AI, and so what does that turn into?
It's that revolutionary.
Yeah, it's
that impactful to the history of our history as humans.
Yeah, I mean, somebody 40 years, 50 years from now that came back, it's traveled back in time, came to us and said, "Oh my gosh, you're still doing this." A perfect example, Back to the Future 3. You run for fun. To them it was just hilarious, or just as somebody from third party, just it's funny looking back. And there's a lot of things that are going to continue to change, but I'm all for it, certainly. Who's controlling this? Who's controlling this AI train?
My understanding is that currently Microsoft owns the OpenAI. It has a majority share. That's my understanding, share, right? Yeah. And to me, it's a bit scary because it's Bill Gates, and he also bought a whole bunch of farmland recently in the middle of America.
He's turning into Howard Hughes.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that. I don't know.
He's gonna have tissue boxes for shoes soon.
Again, we're in the cutting edge, and I think these companies that are creating these products have a tremendous responsibilities. And I've heard something recently, that podcast that we talked about with Joe Rogan, they talked about the companies' responsibilities and holding them accountable if this technology is used to hurt people.
Well,
I don't even know if these companies themselves control the technology, because a lot of the stuff, when you listen to these guys, they can't explain how the technology is doing some of the things that it's doing.
Yeah, and it's interesting because there's we try to put safeguards in place, but I don't think that the safeguards are keeping up with the time, and I don't think that's a disservice on ourselves, more so on we just don't understand it yet, and we don't know how to correctly. So we can still, it's in its infancy. One of the other in-depth analysis and in-depth things that I really am excited for is translation services. So the World Economic Forum had a speaker, and he was in a different language. And somebody posted the same exact speech, except it looked like he was talking English or speaking English. And for me, that's more of us connecting as humans. You don't. It
opens up the world.
Yeah, it opens up the world, and if you could understand that, that's huge. I mean, that's what brings us together, is if we're in the same tribe, well, respectively in language. And so I know that later down the road that you'll be able to have something, and I know CES had this, where it had a box and you can put something in your ear, and you give the other person something and they can put it in their ear.
Okay.
And you can talk your normal language and it automatically translates. And so we're going to see those things continue to progress, and that allows us to not be afraid of other cultures and really start opening up and seeing more eye to eye with other people. And I think that's a very positive thing that will come out of AI.
Well, I think it's not a new thing. I think the internet in general did that. It
Yes.
made a world a smaller place, right? Because internet, because instantaneous,
Yeah.
because the geographical barrier is no longer a barrier.
A journalist that wants to go somewhere else and post the videos, especially like on normal news, you always have a translator and you see it and you have a mild disconnect. But what if they're speaking English and it visually looks like they're speaking English?
Right. It looks gives it this organic appeal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you feel more, it feels more relatable. You feel more comfortable. It doesn't feel so foreign.
That's true. Right now, currently on social media platforms, if you see something in a different language, if it's in text, you have the translate button. But if it's in video, you really don't know. But I think it just makes sense that it's a natural thing of progression with this tech.
And which is great. It's certainly a Star Trek moment for me of the universal translator, which is, for me, I thought was years, like hundreds of years away or 100 years.
I think it's
and now
here
we're
now.
looking like...
It makes the travel experience a whole more seamless, more frictionless.
Okay, so some takeaways really for this week. So my big takeaways for this week, CES had a lot of stuff going on, and there's a lot of stuff that has continued this week to push the boundaries of AI. I think there was a lot of catchy, and I'm just trying to be a part of the AI community. And
correct, because there's a lot of people, even they're creating their companies or they're creating up domain names and they're putting AI into it just because it's this crazy.
It's hot.
It's hot. It's crazy. It's trendy.
It's the web, the .com boom.
We're living on this surf web, surf tide of this amazing thing. And there's people who are actually working on it, and there's people who are like, oh, how can I use it in my business and make me sound smart or something?
Yeah.
I think I've already been a user of this technology. Like, my car drives itself. And I'm also an 80s kid, so to me that's a big deal. To me that's the future. To me it's like, wow, the software can do that in real physical world. But for this week, I'm lucky to be here and be a witness to this change. I think it's extremely revolutionary to humanity. Like it's gonna. We're in year 2 of this crazy technological innovation, and because of internet and because of this technology, because of the internet period, it's as transparent as it can be.
Yeah. We're very lucky to be living in a time where we experience the next level of humanity, and I certainly remember, internet becoming a thing. Social media was one of the other ones, especially for people our generation. Certainly, we don't remember the plane or the car or industrial revolution or anything like that. Adaptation of something has continued to progress at a quicker rate, and I'm very excited to see how it goes. That's my takeaway. So,
closing comments? Was this the closing comments?
The closing comments. No, so we're going to go into the future and what to expect. This is, you could say, closing arguments. This is not a political debate. What?
I don't mean to go that way.
I enjoy politics, but
I think the future with AI is hopefully these companies like OpenAI, hopefully they're used to help humanity. But somebody's definition of help and positivity may be different than somebody else's definition of help and positivity. So it's really comes down to these operators who operate these organizations.
One of the other things that the future we're going to be seeing is integration into normal corporate world. The problem that we're running into right now is privacy, and AI is not necessarily privacy contained. I know a lot of companies that are not adapting or involving AI because of that, because they're healthcare, banking,
Yeah.
personal information, anything like that. They are not adapting the AI because it's not necessarily secure. So in the future, we certainly will see that being adopted. And as soon as it does, as soon as corporate, America and the world will start seeing it as a secure option, then we'll see this wave that
adoption is key. You're
adoption.
Right. Because let's say medical industry, right? HIPAA laws, privacy laws in the United States, and
privacy is certainly one of those topics we'll have to revisit on another podcast.
I think we'll revisit it many times because a lot of
it's huge. Yeah.
It's huge. Yeah.
With that, so thank you so much for joining us on Neural Network News. This has been a lot of fun. First podcast of these go-tos.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us. And with that, go on and enjoy the AI world that we live in, and make sure to click and subscribe. And do all those good things. We have links in the description. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And we will see you next time.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.